Hello guys, welcome back. Somebody asked me, when you start working with Loki, how do you let go of negative teachings? And in this case, the negative toxic teachings and everything they were questioning had to deal with Christianity. Um, it's as simple as letting go, but that is a lot harder than it sounds. An example from my life, last night I went up and lo and behold, there were 2 scarecrows left. And I'm like, oh, the gods let me keep them. No, they didn't. I just forgot them. And I'm going to sleep thinking, oh, I will always have these 2 as a remembrance. And Loki's like, no, you're completing this work. You are throwing them out. And I said, the jack-o'-lanterns aren't coming back either, are they? Nope. And that sounds kind of hard-headed and cruel, but Loki was like, you have to move on. And eventually, in our walk with Loki, he will say, take something you learned. Like, there's a hell full of fire waiting for you because of you having premarital sex or having an abortion or being divorced or not being baptized. And he will look at you and say, does that even remotely make sense that a god of love is loving up until you piss him off in some way and now he's going to burn you in hellfire? But that's what the church says. That's what the church says, is it? And he will just chip away at it, and he will keep coming back to you, and it can hurt. It can hurt really bad, because you were raised that this otherwise loving God was just going to send you to hell for whatever reason. For being gay, for not getting married, for not pushing out babies if you're a female. For all these reasons, and you're just taught that's the way it is, that this really abusive, toxic religion is a good thing for you. And when a God appears and says, no, why would I just want you to pump out babies without the resources to take care of them? And why would I punish you for being gay or anything else? It takes a lot of dealing with. It takes a lot of dealing with stuff because Loki's the first one to question stuff. If you have a tendency to walk up to a priest, if you're still a Christian or whatever, and say, well, if God loves us, why, whatever, and point out a passage in the Bible or point out inconsistencies in the Bible, Loki probably is the God for you because he's the first one to do that, but he will do it with everything. So you will think you are secure in your paganism, and Loki will come over and look at it and go, nope, tear everything apart, you get to start all over again. You are constantly starting over with Loki. You will think you have life figured out. You have the gods figured out. You got this whole religious thing down, he will tear it apart. And the very worst thing is, after you think you've gotten over Christianity and the negative teachings and everything, he'll come on, trot over to you. When's the last time you talked to Jesus? What? And he won't say anything else. He'll just trot away, and you'll be like, what does he even mean? And Loki will just separate the chaff from the wheat, since they're so fond of that expression. The God he doesn't have a problem with is a toxic culture that grew up around the God. Being an ex-Catholic, I can tell you the Catholic Church was absolutely horrible over the centuries, sacrificing people to lions because they were pagans and they were getting payback or whatever. The wars between Catholics and Protestants, the church running houses of prostitution, church-sanctioned horrors and atrocities against mankind for centuries and centuries and centuries. And now it's just exploding out into light what happened to all these poor children. And it's like, not only the children getting molested, but all these Catholic orphanages where children had a tendency to die. Yeah. All this shit's coming to light. And I can definitely see the Gray Fox's paw in it. Loki's like, yeah, he had enough time to clean up his church. Chop, chop. And he will just come down and he will open the curtains and smash down the door and let all the strangers and neighbors come in and see your dirty laundry, because that's the kind of God he is. And if they do have an actual God that they worship, and I don't know that they do or they don't, because I really don't think it was God that ever spoke to me, he has some accounting to do. We do have free will. We know that. Our gods won't force anything on us. They won't force actions on us, which is why there are starving people, why there's so much crime and everything. The gods won't force us to go around like puppets, forcing us to behave against our nature. It's up to us as a species to take care of one another. If we don't do that, it's on us. Not on anyone else, on us. So, The best way to get over any kind of toxic programming is to just work with Loki. And sometimes it will take years, my dears. I'm sorry, but it will. Especially if you were getting this training for decades, it's going to take a while. Just, hold on to the faith that it will get better, and it will get better. Hold on to your faith in Loki. It's okay to have faith in Loki. We usually don't talk about it, but it's perfectly okay to have faith in Loki. For 42 years, I've been fine. Not as fine, perhaps, to the standards I always dreamed about and was told as a white American, and the jury's out on the white part, that I deserved, but I've always been fine. So, just have some faith, work through it. It's okay. You're not going to burn. This God isn't going to show up with a chainsaw and get you someday because you left the church. You don't have to be afraid. There's no boogeyman out there to get you. I didn't say God doesn't exist. I said there's no boogeyman God that's waiting to get you and throw you into hell because you left the church. Beware of any institution that says that if you don't do it our way, our mystical being will come back and get revenge on you. That doesn't happen. Now, if you're working with a god one-on-one and you do something wrong, you'll get it instantly. Don't worry about it. You will get it instantly. But there's no such thing as hellfire or, unjust punishments. And just, work with Loki and be gentle with yourself and be forgiving of yourself. It's not your fault that it's nobody's fault the way they were raised. The difference between people that chose to become pagan and people that, remained Christian is that when the time came to make our choice, we just couldn't do it anymore. It wasn't right for us. So, if you like what you see, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.